China's 1 and 2 will tomorrow do battle in the women's singles final. But this evening, they pair up as they've done successfully in the past. Two-time women's doubles champions as a pair at WTT Grand Smash level, having won in Singapore at the Smash in 2022 and 2023. Now face Odo and Harimoto, their Japanese rivals, in a first-time encounter in WTT action. We're back to the best of 5, having just come from singles action back to doubles. And it's a look now at 4 highly talented players. The Japanese pair, the younger at just 17, that's Harimoto, and 21, S.Odo, against experienced players with doubles rankings of 2 and 5 between them. But look at the quality on show here, and you have a sense of just how good this could be. We'll talk a little bit more about the achievements of both of those pairs in a moment, but let's reintroduce Mikhail Gutman, our umpire for this one. And as always, when Adam Bobrow joins me, we'll lay out what it takes to play doubles in table tennis, all of the requirements, specifications, and likely permutations in terms of how these two pairs will play. So they're across for the coin toss. Short wait as Ingrid Borgen, who's assisting, make sure that the Japanese players are ready for that coin toss. Here it comes.
Okay, I have red or black. Black for Odo Harimoto, red for WANG and Su. Red, you win. Receive. Who starts serving? Odo, yeah, and that side.
I like the way Shasha just had to say her own name. Sun's going to receive, she said. So Sun it will be to receive the serve of Satsuki Odo. Just a quick word on the Japanese. They began their women's doubles partnership earlier this season. And in fact, they won on their first ever outing as a duo, the WTT Star Contender Ljubljana. And they are a pair that's since gone on to add 3 more WTT Series titles to their collection. Winners in Zagreb, Buenos Aires, and also in Brazil at Foz do Iguaçu. So they've got some form on their hands. Adam, why don't you talk us through how they've gone here this week?
Well, the results speak quite loudly of what they're capable of. They've only dropped 1 game, and that to a very flashy, creative pair with a lot of feeling, and Adriana Diaz and Kritika Pavad, who've been in wonderful form since they started not too long ago. So what feels like about 4 major events for them. But Odo, incredibly fast. M.Harimoto, just so strong near the table. She's got such a mentally mature game, but these two are, well, top 2 in the world for a reason.
And this one has gone with seeding. So here they are. So win against the mixed association pairing of Shan and to start off with. Then tricky opponents in the shape of Varadi and Matalova, beaten again in straight games. And once again, no games dropped in a really impressive one against Yuhana and her partner, Nagasaki. Let's look back, shall we, to what these are capable of doing, and that is winning at Grand Smash level. Last time out, they won in 2023, having won in 2022 in the same Singapore venue in Grand Smash action. And that shows just what they're all about. They could have had another Grand Smash more recently to their name, but having really made the front running in the final in Las Vegas in the US Smash, they came unstuck against Wang Yidi and Kwaiman in that final. So that's the setup for you. This is really one to look forward to. It's gone with seeding, the number 1s against the number 2s. Oh my, look at that.
It looks like she's serving 3 different camera lenses. Hey, speaking of which, fan vote 86-14. Cast your votes at worldtabletennis.com or WTT before any matches and all matches.
You can understand why the fans have gone that way. We have seen number 1 seeds very comfortably beat number 2 seeds in the other doubles finals already. So let's see how this one turns out. What we'll hope for is something similar to the men's doubles final, which was spectacular. More on that later.
First game, Odo to serve, love all. One love.
Punchy start by the Japanese pair.
One thing we can say about Satsuki's game is that she's very fast and very powerful. She's small, she packs a big punch and stays right next to the table, which is effective in doubles. Quality rally here. It's not easy to get under the table as Miwa does, and to get back up and still be just sort of on balance. So short stroke there, and then the ripping backhand from Odo attempted.
We've seen a lot of Odo in doubles competition, obviously with Sora Matsushima in the mixed, and she had a good run in the singles as well, so she's featured heavily, as has Miwa here this week. But these two have got a singles final to contest tomorrow. How about that? And now they're partners.
This is what we call professionalism. You can imagine many different work environments where someone has to be your competition temporarily and work together. It's always fascinating to see them practicing in the training hall together before their match. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question they'll be sitting at home sticking pins in an effigy of their opponent. More likely, as you say, that they'll be in that warm-up hall getting up together tomorrow ahead of the final. But let's talk about what we expect tactically in this matchup here, Adam.
Well, the Japanese pair are going to have to be very specific close to the table. Interesting. I think, again, it's all relative. Whatever it takes to keep the opponents farther away from the table, keep yourself in position. I mean, there were so many good matches today, but Simon Gozi and Lin Shadong was quite epic. And just the way it works in terms of someone being far from the table yet still managing to manufacture a point is crazy.
Well, Gozi did that in such a way that he almost unsettled Lin Shadong. Almost.
He sure did.
He somehow came back.
For a while he did. It just wasn't enough. The stadium's packed right now. It's filled with players, and someone said that's the best match I've ever seen.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it was mind-blowing. But anyway, the beauty of this one is that at 4-4 in the first, and with all the fun the games that doubles tends to bring, this should be a really spectacular way to end our evening's program.
It's also interesting that we have 4 right-handed players, no pairs of mixed. We often have a righty-lefty combo, and these are the top 2 in the world, as you see. Wang Yidi, He Zhuojia, Chen Yi, He Xiao, the Chinese women's team. They're going to have a big meeting after this. It's been an interesting week.
After this match or after this event?
After this match and the trophy presentation, because like everyone watching at home, they've got a lot to look forward to. M.Harimoto will be here as well for that. But yeah, after the trophy presentation, there's a Chinese team meeting.
5-6.
Just for the women?
Everybody.
Okay.
I mean, talk about communal spirit.
Well, the women players filled all 4 of the semi-final places. They've won the mixed doubles.
Right, not as much to talk about there.
I think we can figure that out. Won the mixed doubles, didn't win the men's doubles, lost out to Hong Kong China's pair in that one. So I think we know where you're going.
But it is interesting that everybody has to be there. And I think it's smart. I think that's how they've built, one of many ways they've built such a successful team over the years, is creating that team spirit. It's not singling anyone out. It's everyone come together. We need to have a serious talk.
What's also great is that they're all here in attendance as well. You know, and that's something they have the luxury of virtually every event. They're always going to have a chance to come out and watch their stars. Okay, who've we got coaching tonight?
Rei Nakazawa is the women's team coach for Japan. designated earlier this year, stepping into the role.
7-all.
It's tight, this one.
Yeah, you asked about tactics. It's going to involve getting in a little bit earlier to have more options. Even if you're playing the touch game, the earlier you get to where you need to be, the quicker you are to get out, the more options you have. And since you advertised it and I didn't do it, if you're newer to table tennis and haven't been able to tell by the pattern of play, players must alternate shots. That little blue line down the middle of the table, blue because it's, well, the first ever Euro smash, the European smash. You have to serve from the right side on the diagonal, but only in doubles. They signal to each other on both sides of the table cryptically to communicate.
Thank you.
8-all.
They just can't get away. They eke out a lead, and back come the Chinese pair.
The end game. This is where the top players really succeed and excel. The last few points. Business end of game number one, the Japanese pair with a two-serve combo looking to make the most here.
8-9.
And now, having dropped that one on the service, look at the applause from the Chinese players and coaches. They know these are the big moments.
All.
But the key now is the service goes to the Chinese pair.
Right, and I think after the first serve was taken from the Japanese pair, this was big because having the Chinese opponents with two serves at 10-8 is a very different game here. Japanese pair has one good receive here, quick follow-up attack. Suddenly there's that much more pressure on the Chinese world number one pair. Timing takes it early. Odo on top of the bounce goes wide and bends it here tactically. Right when you asked me this earlier in the match, this was a big factor. Knowing when to play safe and use the length of the table, and when you have the opportunity to take it early and try to hit a winner.
And it earns them a game point against the Xiaoxia serve. Which they take. So how about that? They got across the line in a hurry in a tight opening game here in this women's doubles final at Europe Smash Sweden 2025. How about this? For a perfect start. For the neutrals really to set this match up.
バックでバックのその圧力絶対負けない。そうするとストレートに回すチャンス現れる。そこ勝てるから自分たち。次も絶対。
Checking in on the ITTF Table Tennis World Rankings. Obviously, you see different players partnered up with different partners. So, Manyu's name is there, but that's with Kwaiman, right, Adam? So, we've now seen a return to the old partnership for these two.
Yeah, I mean, Kwaiman's name, look at her, 1 and 9. She's in two different partnerships. Imagine splitting all of your matches into two separate baskets and still being top 10 in both.
That's a measure of her qualities. Right, but it's the Chinese pair who have lost the first game against M.Harimoto and Odo.
Second game, Santo serve, love all. One, love.
You talked about the table tennis neutrals, and in terms of game number one, not Felix, I wanted to tell you that it makes things way more interesting that the Japanese pair took game number one, because the world number one without pressure, you could imagine sailing away.
Two.
But as we saw with Simone and Lin Shidong, I think this makes things more interesting, regardless of how it ends. And if you really want a fighting chance... Oh, the power. A chop out of Miwa. What are you thinking?
I was just celebrating Wang Manyu because before this gets too old, remember, she played that 1 hour, 16-minute marathon, stretched everywhere yesterday by Hashimoto, came out fresh as a daisy to blast her way through her singles semifinal, and here she is back on the table again. Massive credit to her.
3-1.
Again, I have to imagine there was a lot of ice, a lot of sleep, and a lot of care. Probably sleep at the top of that list. A lot of these players take naps after their matches. Some of them I talked to are like, I'm just going to go take a 2-hour nap and then I'll be back for dinner.
Sharp as anything there. No signs of rustiness, fatigue, stiffness, or anything at all for Wang Manyu, who was poaching here.
Yesterday I put out an APB. I asked for a search for records of choppers beating Wang Manyu. She's 20 of 20 against choppers. Yingsha, 19 of 19. She's never been beaten by a chopper internationally.
1-5.
And that's just what sets them apart. The way Manyu plotted and crafted her win against such a difficult opponent speaks volumes as to her quality. But that's a conversation, really, I suppose, for the singles matchup tomorrow.
What did we just see? You know what I think we saw? I think we saw the underground ball trade where someone sneaks a ball that went into the crowd back to the ball kid. The tussle and a lot of hustle out here. The footwork, the tango and the tangle. The turns from the backhand corner. Odo with a beautiful 1-foot cover, almost a Karate Kid crane kick. And still somehow the Japanese pair manages to win the point shots later. Testing the footwork again. Variation in the placement on the pushing game. Odo. Keep your eyes on Odo. Looking for the attack. Says, nope. But I'm going to play a little bit more shallow. Half long doesn't come off so much. No headband there. Just a hand to clear it out. Variation on the serve. Shasha. These subtle touches. The difference from serve to serve. Fighting Yingsha. Shasha's net recovery here in this rally. We saw a lot of that, again, with Yingsha and Simone earlier. But here we're seeing just the same in this high pace. Wow, keeps it forward with topspin, too. Again, just to keep that ball in play would have been impressive, but she did it with interest and real precision. The power. Odo turns it up a notch. She's had a wide variety of different forehands here as they cryptically sign to each other, the Japanese pair. That's full commitment there.
7-5.
Still 2 points in front, the trailing Chinese pair. We talked about Rei Nakazawa. Ma Lin, maybe the most celebrated doubles player of all time, on the bench for the Chinese pair. The extra effort pays off. Shasha and Wang Manyu extend the lead to 3 with some big effort shots from the backhand. There's one. Backhand.
Look at me, we're on the move there.
Had to. Long way to go to get to where you know that ball's going.
Oh,
5-9.
That came back off a beautiful block, and something about it just maybe confused M.Harimoto a little.
Couldn't see the hand of Wang Manyu, but it definitely came back slowly, a little bit awkwardly. Nice change of pace between two
6,
people.
9.
A soft shot and then a quick punch to follow. This is like two brains working together as one. Odo out in front snaps back. The Japanese pair, this is tough because it felt like they put themselves in a good position to have the finisher. Got Wang Manyu on one foot, Sha moving through, but still the quality the Chinese pair produces is enough to set up 4 game points to level the playing field.
Ten, 7.
Any Japanese
8,
fans that might
10.
be in the crowd are obviously outnumbered by the Chinese support, but they might just have a little inkling, a little bit of hope right now. 2 of the game points saved.
Yeah, it's a wonderful backhand. Someone asked me an interesting question about what makes Miwa stronger than many of the rest, the other top outside of Team China, and her ability to move in, to recognize what needs to be done so quickly. She sees the game so well. Spectacular point, and it's Miwa with the finish. Just after talking about this from behind the table, she knows to spin. Odo, that was the second shot, and then another heavy spin, more shallow on the table. What a block was that? It looked like a UFO, Sabina Winter out here, and catching the edge on the counter. And now a timeout. Ma Lin will have a little conversation with the world #1 pair of Wang Manyu and Yingsha.
3 game points squandered. He knows it's time to have a chat.
The meeting came a little early.
没关系，这时候这个孩子可以摆这儿，如果舒服的。摆这儿的话，后面打打孩子可以用侧网，然后他假如说他的回力短了，被人摔。
有感觉，因为前面就上一次终于说要出。
的话，这是8.2。
华尔街的话，你华尔街还是刚摆那样没问题，就摆美和这个位置或者再偏点这儿没问题，我还是上来照着他去。
对啊。
他如果回我的时候，我就一拖下去。出台了，我给你往反手拉，回中间拉，我放着。
可以，没关系，坚决啊，坚决，没关系，没问题啊，可以。
One of the more heavy spin shots we've seen. To even comprehend the amount of spin, what that feels like, the numbers will mean nothing to you, except by comparison to the other stats you've seen. Trying to block it, let alone touch it off the bounce. Okay.
9-10.
At this level, even many of the pros outside of China will tell you it's a whole different caliber of spin from these two, the quality that they bring. But for the last 3 points, it's the Japanese pair who's been successful. And Miwa comes through and on the parallel makes the backhand count, shot selection, a big name of the game, and then the execution, that's the second step, and she nails it.
Big point. And if they add to it and win it, remember with the Chinese timeout burned, this could be a big moment.
And finally, a shot that could shut down Miwa's backhand inside the table. A tighter serve, heavy underspin, contacts it a bit high. The ball slows down, bites the table quite a bit. You can tell who's rooting for whom out here in this moment. Wow,
Nearly there.
contrast.
Nearly there. Game point to the Chinese pair. Again. Not to be, though.
11 all.
Now, we're into alternate serves, of course, so who holds their nerve?
A little bit flatter here. Miwa straight behind the ball, something both her and her brother have in their repertoire.
Oh, the noise!
That's the one. It's a little surprising that this is how it came. It doesn't end the game. But after all these shots, this is why, if nothing else, you just keep the ball in play. Wang Manyu manages to leave it on the table. And our fighting fan here seems to have willed her pair into a game point once again.
They've had plenty. What a game. What a finale
Left
to this game.
11 12.
Did you hear the noises from the players on that last exchange? They are fully invested.
Wow. For Satsuki to get out of the way and Miwa to make that shot with such fine margins to avoid hitting her player. Watch this duck and cover. That's really close. And Shasha counters and catches the net. Wow. So a narrow escape, being 0-2 down against a pair as strong as Miwa and Satsuki, who are quite young, the younger pair out there. We're looking at a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old versus a 26 and a 24-year-old. Now it's level.
And it probably makes that timeout worth it after all that. It is level indeed. One apiece.
力全在放上。
包括你俩这个。
So much fun around this one. Tactically, what have we seen?
Well, a lot of winning balls here from Shasha and Wang Manyu. It hasn't been easy. They've had quite extended rallies. But if you look at them here, again, a lot in the middle of the table, the crossover, just constantly mixing it up. That's reacting to where the players are moving, especially when you've got two right-handed players out
Third
there.
game, Odo to serve, love all.
If you can go to the wide forehand early, great. It's not necessarily going to finish the point, though. Then hitting it behind.
Love 1.
It's interesting. Ever since you mentioned the two right-handers, I'm obsessed with how they get out of each other's way. We've seen it both sides of the table, and you highlighted that point, of course, towards the end of the last game. We saw one previously where Shasha was ducking down and out the way.
Like a magician or anyone who's good at their job, there's this element of you simply don't notice the work that goes into it. But the way they move in and out, even at a much lower level in Japan, it's almost poetic. It's like a partner dance, the circular motion and the way they maneuver. Find balance to stay as close as you can, but still get out of the way.
Yeah, choreography, isn't it, really?
In all fairness, a lot of people who play doubles in the beginning at lower levels of competition are so excited to get out of the way that they run completely out. And then when it's their shot again, they're not in position. So it's a fine margin, a fine balance. And it's important to stay as close as you can, but still giving your partner the best shot. In this case, she has.
We've seen that play before. Inside out from Manyu. Between the two players.
It's a good step around. Shasha sets up the perfect choreography for a free forehand. I think on the Japanese side, they're going to have to take some chances. It's the safe shot to go long into that backhand because it's the longest part of the table, but Wang Manyu's right there waiting.
2, 3.
Little clenched fist and a look around to Marlin then. You get the feeling that she's expertly executed some instructions and advice there. The thing about these two, as with all great athletes, is they know when to turn up the heat, when to just up the tempo, put some pressure on, and they seem to be doing that right now.
This is true for both sides as they discuss their many options, of course. But the processing speed is so important. In singles, too, just to know what the opponent is expecting so that you can choose anything but that. The earlier you recognize what is expected, the quicker you cannot be distracted by the wrong choice of shots. And again, it's not easy to do the less likely shot under pressure, but it's a good starting point if you're looking to fool the opponent.
2, 6.
I'd love to see that one from another angle. It was Christian Carlsen against Lin Shadong in China, I think, a few years back, who took a swing at it, missed, but that was a second bounce, so it was immediately over. If you swing and miss, you can hit it on a second swing if you want.
Oh, they're under fire now, the Japanese pair. 5 behind, having dropped the second game. Oh boy, they needed that. A stretch and an anguished vocalization from Wang Manyu, but that's a steady little run of points that's put the Chinese pair in a very strong position still in this third game.
A little bit off the net here, Wang Manyu acknowledging the fortune, but down the line, good to have some Norwegians in the crowd as well. Scandinavia table tennis on the rise since Paris 2024.
Right now, it's not working for the Japanese pair in a way that it did so well in the first game. And you have to give so much credit to the Chinese players who've just turned it up, haven't they? A notch or two.
Let 3, 9.
A lot of deep thinking here from Miwa. Well, that was a surprising push. Odo plays a third ball push from the baseline instead of opening the attack, and it sets up Miwa to find the opening angle. Keep your eyes on Wang Manyu and Shasha, where they are here. This is the thing about timing, recognizing where the opponents are standing for when you choose to take the attack. That was very cleverly played by the Japanese pair. And here, right off the bounce, Odo explodes cross court. She's so snappy here. She's just able to, I feel like, clamp down on top of the ball early on. Good to see a guy in the background.
And this mini revival continues. Another point to make it 3 on the bounce. And they might be leaving it late in this game, but suddenly the Japanese pair has rediscovered its mojo.
I can understand why so many people are big fans of Satsuki Odo. The way she throws her whole body into that ball, it's just so athletic and heroic. Remember, they were down 6-10 last game before scoring 4 in a row, the Japanese pair.
But They are on thin ice right now because they couldn't afford to drop a point. They did, and now they look at 4 game points to their opponents who are looking to take a 2-1 lead in this women's doubles final.
Good power on top of the bounce.
7, 10.
I like it. You said she's snappy. Absolutely. Just snaps into those shots.
I think of it like a mousetrap, except a mousetrap hitting a table tennis ball instead of, you know, doing what mousetraps do.
Well, as you said, they've done it before. They've had to come from way further back this time. And it didn't work last time because there was a timeout that just helped the Chinese to steady themselves. And they still have 2 game points. So he's sitting down.
I love how supportive the team doctors are. Wang Yurun from China has been up on his feet showing and cheering. It really is such a team effort. So much passion for the sport, the national sport.
It looked as if it was a hit and hope from Satsuki, who hardly believed her previous shot made it. And then the second she couldn't. So the third game rather becomes a second one in succession for the Chinese pair.
That's a tough way to get out of the way. Satsuki Odo doing everything she can there to make some space. But the Chinese pair taking advantage after a long exchange. And now it's 2 games to 1, 1 game away from a big title.
正手不行，这里边哪怕这样保险拉直线。
这轮还是一样，咱俩其实现在拖点长，再回短期就可以，咱俩多打点长。
Say 18x? That's unbelievable. Clear shot. Another look, okay? Wait,
You saw the sun?
come on. Jeez, focus. 15.
15.
That,
There you
okay,
go.
it all makes sense.
Serve to serve.
Okay, I'm not jealous anymore. It was like 18? I'm not chasing new technology, but thanks for that, camera team. That was awesome. Sha and Wang Manyu leading 2-1 here, looking to close this out and take a title without a decider.
Well, their focus has been really impressive in this one. No distraction at all in their minds with a singles final to contest tomorrow. They've had to come back against the Japanese pair, remember, who led in this one.
There it is. The open door quickly closes, but right before Miwa's forehand sneaks on through and enters the building. Quick turn for a tall player, and she's one of the tallest players on the Japanese women's team now at only 17 years old. She still has such quick reaction time. Sends some nerves into the Chinese fans.
2-1.
It's funny, the Harimotos, both Tomo and Miwa, are very well respected and quite popular in China. Big part of that is their history. Some Morse code there from the fingertips.
Yeah.
Save our ship.
Oh, wow.
Ship saved. Ship sailing.
More than saved. That fired a salvo.
That sounds like a term you have more experience with than I do, but beautiful side
Just
spin
think
top
big guns. That was a shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Remember, this is a must-win for the Japanese pair. We saw quite an exciting men's doubles final earlier today that would have, well, the predicted winners not coming out the way they expected. I imagine the fan vote as well. Baldwin Chan and Wang Chunting with a very impressive title over Lin Shidong and Huang Yozheng. What a counter. Satsuki was right there waiting. She got there so quickly. Again, this is why you work on foot speed. This is why if you follow these players on their social media, you can see them tapping lights, doing rubber band exercises, keeping their speed as fast as can be. Right back down the line. Miwa's territory. She can build a property on that parallel forehand corner. Put a nice picket fence around it. Decorate the mailbox whoever she wants. Dad'll come visit. That was M.Harimoto, her father, in the crowd. Ooh.
3,
Escape.
5.
It's a fine contact with these closed rackets. They're not hitting it flat. They're brushing it ever so finely. Just catches the edge here. Flies straight at Shasha. Oh, the blitz. She tries.
4, 5.
Played well right into the middle. Perfect placement to shut down Odo. So one defensive shot. Miwa then with a nice counter. Odo pulls out a UFO.
Timeout.
Tong Tong Chen Tianyi quickly up on their feet. Everybody's studying here. Wang Yidi, who else? Ju Sabing. The chopper with short pips, in case you heard a moment where I said otherwise earlier. She did practice with Auntie to prepare her players.
对你现在领没事，现在就是戳咱们防小长这下子。这下里头，我觉得咱们现在要有质量更好，没有质量的话，一定要把要把弧线拉好。もう一回がちょっと早めに見た方がいい。なんかふにゃふにゃのボール。そう。大きいスイング取るより最後のところしっかりコンパクトやればいい。そうチキラ優先でいいから微妙まずチキラでミスでも全然構わないリードしてるから
Timeout. Your Japanese is probably better than mine, but it sounded like there was some conversation about the banana flick on the receive to handle here. Get in quick and early, side and top spin, keep the pressure on. Again, the choreography to stay out of each other's way for Miwa sliding back and forth right at the baseline. And Odo here just misses the contact on the final shot. But the resilience, persistence, and consistency from Wang Manyu and Shasha under pressure ties it up.
5, 6.
I'm not superstitious. I don't know if Shasha and Wang Manyu are, but Wang Manyu's favorite color is blue. And what do you know? They're up by 1.
Seven, 5.
Continuing on this streak, the timeout has not worked out in the favor of the Japanese pair so far. It continued 3 points after a comeback that sent the timeout. What will it take for the Japanese pair to get into the rallies to create the openings on the wide forehand where Miwa's punched so many times before? hands. But a net recovered as Shasha plays the parallel, and it's a 3-point lead. Touch on receive. A little fortune there. Not bad after that. Shasha comes across that ball in such a way. It was almost like a traditional pen-hold punch. Something Ma Lin would know a thing or two about. 6 of the last 8 for the Chinese pair before this much-needed point. For the pair hanging on by a thread, M.Harimoto and S.Odo. Little bit of tension in the room. Started to feel like a runaway for a bit.
Please play.
Quality. Everything was survival from the Japanese pair in this rally, dodging the balls hit right at their elbow, making middle shots. One, and here a backhand way out in front, but because Odo played it so far out in front, it came back quickly. It bought her a little advantage on the angle, and that set up Miwa for the finish. 8 points apiece. No timeouts left. Man, was that awkward. What did she do to the ball? M.Harimoto sent it back, almost as if she was playing with Auntie. Look, one more time. Wow. Slows it way down. Odo raises her hand as if to say sorry. It almost looked like it hit a finger. Yet it still jumped out forward, so obviously some topspin on it. What a change of pace to continue. Now this is quite unusual. From anyone else in the world against a shot like this coming in, yeah, that was heavy topspin from Miwa. Shasha very rarely takes a big counter swing and is this far from the table. What a streak. What, 5 points in a row from down 5-8? My memory's faulty. The point is now game point. 2 times over for the Japanese. Well, this is a very uncomfortable position to be in, as Odo goes on the run here. And the Chinese team is all up on their feet. Shu and Yao added to the mix on the right. Miwa does well to lean out of the way. One more game point to send this to the decider. Shasha on the move, sneaks it past somehow. When you hear her grunt, you know you've got next level pace, spin, everything in that shot. Leaning to make sure they could see it. This was big, but it's not over yet. 2 game points saved. Goose. Alternating serves until one pair has a 2-point lead. It's the pair in blue. They're champions. The Japanese pair, it's the decider. But it's Shasha with a blistering backhand, bouncing way past, as fast as can be. Chiquita crushed, frapped the other way. Baby Buddha keeping it cool, still conversation time. It is championship point for the world number 1 pair.
Left 10-11.
crushing forehand. It sits up, and this swing was like she was hitting for a speed gun. As a matter of fact, if we have that stat, I'd be curious. Look at that, 92. This production crew is unbelievable. Say it and it shall be. 92 kilometers per hour. Find me a shot close to that this week. M.Harimoto sits at the top of the arcade game record. And it ties it up at 11 points apiece. Second deuce. Open table. Slides to get low. S.Odo started low but finished even lower. The move here. Look at this. Comes across the ball down the line. Sakamoto-san up on his feet. M.Harimoto looking at his daughter out here, the younger of the two Harimoto kids, both of whom have made their parents incredibly proud. And it's game point to send it to a decider once again. Smart play. She softens it up. So pack your bags. We're going on a field trip. Where, you ask? To the D, to the side, to the dir. Game number 5. The final deciding game. One game to determine who the champions will be and what the tone of the meeting will be for the women of China. We will see. They're strong in the end, but the Japanese pair showing that they are up for the task. The sparring partners, the team managers, the personal coaches, and everybody else. The world watches on for the great rivalry. Game 5 coming up after this. Whoever figures out what to do with 3 syllables first gets to win the chance. And with far more Chinese fans in the stadium, Zhongguo Dui is the chant. Chinese team. Could have been Nihonjin. Japanese people. Maybe doesn't roll off the tongue just the same, but again, the fans, the stadium. Get your tickets, Japan. It's worth the trip wherever you are in the world. You've got some superstars on the main stage here. And this is it. One final game to end the day and determine the champions of the women's doubles event. Only one game dropped between these two pairs in the entire week before this match. Oh!
Love 1.
Taxi, please. That's a long way to go to get that ball. Wang Manyu. Clever, yeah, thumbs up. Shasha likes. Subscribe and share.
Love.
Towels shaking in the crowd. The fans filling the seats. It's a packed house today. I think I know the person who bought the last ticket.
Let 2 love.
Whenever you hear a grunt out of Shasha, you know it's next level. That much energy into a ball. Remember, a teammate of hers who had to play her in the semifinals said she has so much muscle. And when you see how low she stands, she really springs up into the ball to get that extra racket speed.
The flash. 3 love.
Good start here for the world #1 pair. And it stays on the Chinese side.
3.
The grunt from Wang Manyu as she tries to lift. Nice opening backhand. As soon as it touches their own side of the table, the point is over. Chinese pair eventually getting the ball to the right side, but point was done. Good variation in the push game. Wang Manyu not putting as much spin on it, so it's overlifted by Odo. Forehand flick, one of the toughest shots in the game. Satsuki Odo's wonderful in that department, but a well-placed ball kept her quite challenged in this moment. So they will switch sides and order of play. Satsuki Odo and M.Harimoto down 1-5.
Five, 1.
Shasha makes that somehow. Miwa spun it shallow down the line. And the acrobatics that it took to get around that ball, it was wizard-like, Harry Potter-like even, as that fan seemed to know before coming to this event, that Shasha would do that. It's probably not Harry Potter, it's just Shasha with glasses and a lightning bolt on her head and a magic wand. Good heavy push, extra backspin, a very faint brushing motion there. Still a long way to go, but we've seen bigger comebacks. Man, today has been dramatic. These marquee events, the grand smashes, there's just so much every day in table tennis. The drama can't stop watching. Oh, she hit it around her. Odo. Miwa played the statue. The pillar in the middle of the arena. Check this out one more time. Keep your eyes on Miwa. Okay. Pops back up and holds once again. That is not an easy way to go. I think if you were following Satsuki Odo in that moment, you might not have noticed Miwa squatting to the ground. And again, the muscle, that extra effort for a net save. This is focus. World's top 2 singles players and the world's top doubles, or at least the top seeds here. Wang Manyu and Yingsha, making Rei Nakazawa's job a little bit tougher. Ma Lin on the edge of his seat.
9-2.
When the going gets tough, the top seeds get going, and they are going. 2 points away from a title. A bit of fortune in a crucial moment. Wang Manyu has had her fair share of nets. A credit to her for going for every shot. Recoveries, whatever else it needs. Long push. It's a tough ball here for Miwa to play heavy topspin on. Tries to flat hit it there. It is championship point 8 times over for Wang Manyu and Yingsha.
Left. 2, 10.
Imagine if it wasn't. Remember, they do have TTR. At this point, it seems unlikely, but you never know. And it is unnecessary because Wang Manyu has eeled her way through with Yingsha. A beautiful finish to lay down the law here, and the top seeds live up to the reputation. They take it home over the number 2 seeds. This was quite a fight between 2 pairs that definitely deserved to be here. And for the spectators, maybe deserves got nothing to do with it, to quote Clint Eastwood, but we definitely got our show. Couldn't have asked for a much better final, and in the end, game number 5. Champions do what champions do. Wang Manyu and Yingsha, a chance to smile. Rivals tomorrow in the final for the women's singles. teammates that came up in the same generation at 16 and 18 years old, but here they are today at 24 and 26, 8 years later, taking the world by storm. The top two women in the game stand tall. We'll take the big prize money, the big points, and the most beautiful trophies from the first ever Europe Smash Sweden 2025. Stick around because, well, not only are you going to enjoy the highlights, you'll have an interview on court. It's always good to hear from your favorite players, thoughtful, charming, role models, and heroes. They're the champions, Wang Manyu and Yingsha. So after 54 minutes of play, it was 55-45 overall in points. Service, almost 11% the better, I guess. What's that, 10.24? Okay, so either way, the service game is crucial in doubles. You've only got half of the table to serve to. Under pressure, Game 5 was the real telltale. Wang Manyu and Yingsha able to adapt to everything that came their way. A respectable fight. Let's hear from the champions with our very own John Dykes.
So, Yingsha and Wang Manyu are the women's doubles champions here at Europe Smash Sweden 2025. Many congratulations. Manyu, I'll start with you. It was a fantastic match, and it was the first time that you have played against S.Odo and also against M.Harimoto. So tell us about them and about the match.
恭喜莎莎、曼玉拿下女双冠军。那曼玉，这是你们第一次与张本美和大藤沙月交手，怎么总结这场比赛和怎么评价他们呢？
确实今天的比赛也非常精彩。然后我跟莎莎也是第一次跟日本这队选手交手，然后又是5局大战，我觉得还是非常精彩。然后也很开心跟莎莎能够在这次瑞典的大满贯拿到女双冠军，然后也很感谢整个我们中国队，然后我们身后的力量，然后包括还有我们马岛每一场比赛都为我们准备，然后包括激情的加油和呐喊，也感谢全场的球迷们，然后为我们中国队加油。
I think it's a very wonderful game, and it's our first encounter. We played 5 full games, and it was very happy for us to eventually win the title. And also, of course, thank you all of the fans who's here, and thank you for our coach Ma Ling and all the people and fans who are here supporting us.
Now, Shasha, this is the 3rd time you've won a WTT Grand Smash doubles title. You're back together again to win this historic first Europe Smash. So tell me your feelings about how you feel tonight.
那莎莎，这也是你们第3次拿到 WTT 大满贯赛事的女双冠军，那这也是第1次欧洲大满贯，可以跟我们分享一下此刻的心情和感受吗？
首先非常开心，我跟曼玉今天能够站到最后吧。当然，我觉得其实今天这场比赛非常精彩，也非常焦灼。但当然，其实我觉得我们俩在赛场，我觉得不是只有我们俩在战斗。就像刚刚曼玉说的，其实整个中国乒乓球队也在现场为我们加油。包括其实我俩比赛场下马导也非常有激情，一直在跟我们互动。所以说，我觉得确实也是跟曼玉时隔很久一段时间没有在国际赛场上配合双打，并且拿到冠军吧。所以说，我觉得还是非常开心的。但当然也希望明天我们俩的女单也能给大家奉献更精彩的比赛。
I'm very happy that we are standing until the last. And like Manyu said before, it's not only us, but it's all the Team China that are here cheering for us. And also our coach Ma Ling, he is very passionate and communicated with us very well. And for me and Manyu, it's a long time that we didn't pair together. And we're very, very happy to win the title. And also for me and Manyu, tomorrow's match that we're going to play against each other. So today we won together, but tomorrow we're going to play against each other. We hope it's going to be a very wonderful match.
Well, good luck, Manyu, and good luck, Shasha. Together,
Congratulations to our winners.
Well, there you have it. Maybe the best shout-outs the Chinese team has ever gotten. And when have you seen such big smiles from all of the Chinese national team at once? That was really cool, the way Wang Manyu immediately brought in the whole team, and Sha just the same. We'd expect nothing less. Again, the chemistry, they both shouted out Ma Lin. A passionate man, a supportive man. It was really interesting watching them on the timeouts. The way it was just a bit of conversation. Wow. Go Dodgers, go you. Congratulations on catching a Sha signed ball. That is an exciting time to be alive. Cool. Hey, Lionheart there as well. Not a surprise. A lot of supporters for both. Man, catching a ball makes you want to dance, doesn't it? You're simply the best? No way. Great Waldner compilation on that. Speaking of Sweden, coming up in Sweden right here in Malmö, we're going to have the women's doubles trophy presentation. So, I think it should be a lot of fun. You'll get to see your favorite faces smiling. The ones that worked hard. Really some impressive stuff out here. Stick around. That trophy presentation coming right up. Yeah. Back inside the Renaissance Arena. This is where all the action has been going down. What brings everybody to Malmö, Sweden right now. The first ever Europe Smash, Sweden 2025. And boy, is it sweet in here. We're going to have our trophy presentation with the pairs. Two strong pairs, a Japanese pair that had been incredibly successful, and a Chinese pair that we're happy to see back together. trophy presentation starts now.
Welcome to Europe Smash Sweden 2025. Coming to you live from the Renaissance Arena here in Malmo, Sweden. This is the Women's Doubles Trophy presentation. We shall begin with the trophy presentation for the Super Volunteers of Europe Smash Sweden 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winners, June Law and Jen Christensen. Here to present the trophies to the Super Volunteers, please welcome the... Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winners, Mikael Gottman and Ingrid Bogren from Sweden. The finalists of the women's doubles final from Japan, M.Harimoto and S.Odo. Here to present the trophies to our finalists, please welcome the representative of Malmo Arena, Miss Corinne Martinson. Let's grab a photo with our finalists. Thank you, Miss Corinne. You may now take your leave. Renaissance Arena, here are your finalists of the Women's Doubles Final. Congratulations to our finalists. Thank you, finalists. You may now take your leave. Renaissance Arena, it is now time to welcome your champions of the women's double final from China, Yingsha and Manyu. Here to present the trophies to the champions, please welcome WTT Events Executive Director, Mr. Moner Bessa. And let's grab a photo together. Now, let's welcome back the finalists and Miss Corinne Martinson for a group photo. Mr. Percy, let's have you on stage as well. Perfect, let's grab that photo. Thank you, presenters. You may now take your leave. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your Europe Smash Sweden 2025 Women's Doubles Final Trophy winners. Thank you to our finalists. You may now take your leave. Malmo, Sweden, Renaissance Arena. I now present you your champions of Europe Smash Sweden Women's Doubles Final.
So you know what time it is. It's time to make sure that you're following WTT on all of the social media so you can see these selfies, read the wonderful articles, be kept up to date, be right up there just a foot from the face of the stars who just took this major title and will battle for one more tomorrow on opposite sides of the table. So lots of hardware to carry and lots for you to look forward to. The Europe Smash Sweden 2025 has produced day in and day out absolute world-class spectacle, and today was no different. Lin Shidong and Simongo Z, many pros were calling the best match they've ever seen. 4-3, unbelievable comeback from the world number one. Truls Morgard and his chop block as a staple to finally shut down Benedict Dudoff. 4-0, someone could do it, and it was Truls.